Trump can gain big from the attacks that Mitt Romney and other Republicans are making on him. The media likes to cover them and say the Republican Party is split. There are so many defections from Trump. Reasonable, middle-of-the-road Republicans can't stand Donald Trump, and that it indicates the kind of split that took place in '64 when moderate Republicans would not support Barry Goldwater. Well, that's a total misreading of the political situation, and indeed overlooks an enormous opportunity for Donald Trump because of those attacks. The important thing to remember is that the voters of America are anti-establishment. They're anti the establishments of both political parties. And before Hillary is a liberal, before she's a Democrat, she's a creature of the establishment in very clear, very blunt terms. She overwhelmed Bernie Sanders, who is the anti-establishment candidate. And the more Republican establishment types pile on against Trump and criticizing Trump, and by implication helping Hillary, the more they emphasize the point that Donald Trump is the only anti-establishment candidate. And it brings him votes from the left and from the right and from the center of voters who are convinced that the standard political leadership we've had in this country has been a disaster. It's been one political class, and it's led the country in a horrible, horrible direction. When Ted Cruz, for example, began his campaign for president, he was the anti-establishment candidate. And when Trump jumped in, Cruz continued to push that line. And everybody said he's the least popular man in the Senate. Nobody likes him. Nobody will endorse him. And the more they said that, the more it helped him, because it ratified his credentials as the opposition to the establishment. And he spoke of the duopoly in Washington, of the two-party monopoly. Then, after the other candidates withdrew, all of the establishment began rallying to Cruz. You had Bush endorsing him. You had Romney endorsing him. You had lots and lots of establishment figures lining up the arena, lining up on behalf of Ted Cruz. And the more that happened, the more Donald began to beat Cruz in the primaries. The more he began to overwhelm Cruz, until Cruz finally had to pull out of the race. The kiss of death. And by attacking Trump as being irresponsible and crazy and divisive, Romney and Ryan and the rest are ratifying the idea that Trump represents real change. When you try to reform your own political party, it ends up being very effective, because in your criticism of your own party, you mirror the opinions of the Republicans and Independents and Democrats who don't like your party. You echo their criticism of it. So if Trump attacks Romney for being Wall Street and not in touch with average Americans and not understanding the problems of middle America, he echoes the criticisms that liberals and moderates have of the Republican Party and becomes very attractive to get their votes. It's like when Tony Blair ran in Britain and attacked the left of the Labour Party and the labor unions that dominated it. Conservative voters and independent voters in the UK all rallied to him, because that's what they had been saying about the Labour Party for years. And now finally from within came that voice. That's the potential move that Donald Trump should do right now. Thanks for watching.